Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Shildt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
Here's the pitch. Runner goes. And a ground ball slowly to the right side. A rise way to his right. Has it. Going to bring it all the way himself. In time, and the ball game is over. Robert Suarez, a 4-out save last night. A 3-out save here this afternoon. The Padres beat the Rangers 3-1. They take the series, and they complete their road trip with a 4-2 record through Boston and Texas.
The Padres with a nice win on Independence Day in Texas as they beat the Rangers 3-1 to take 2 out of 3 in this 3-game set against the Texas Rangers. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. As we wrap this one up, welcome into our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. Hope you're having a great July 4th. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in America's finest city, and the Padres wrap up what was a really, really nice road trip. They go 4-2 to first Boston and then Texas. They win both those series, and we will get into today's game and all of it. We'll hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit. We have all the radio highlights for you, break down each and every aspect of this game. But before we get into the particulars of this one, here's what's most important in the macro sense for this Padres ball club. And Jesse and Tony, I thought, did a good job alluding to it during the final inning. The Padres, for the first time, maybe all season, were able to connect a great homestand, a great run of play, with a really good road trip. The Padres went 6-1 on the homestand before they hit the road to Boston. They go 4-2 on this 6-game road trip. The Padres have now won 11 of 14, and they're back to a season high, 5 games above 500. And we talked about it a little bit after the game on Tuesday night when the Padres lost. And they had lost 2 in a row. And you're sitting there thinking, man, I hope this doesn't turn into a skid. I hope this isn't the kind of thing we've seen so often in the first 90 games or so of this season, where the Padres play really well for a stretch, and then it's followed up by a stretch where it just does not go well at all. And the Padres entered this series in Arlington playing the best baseball they've played all year, winning 9 out of their last 11 games. They lose on Tuesday, but what a nice way to bounce back. Winning yesterday, winning the rubber game of this series here today, and a really nice win for a number of different reasons. So the Padres able to connect a great homestand with a really good road trip, and I'll tell you what, they come home for the rest of the first half of the season. Padres do not hit the road again until after the All-Star break. They have off days now mixed in until the All-Star break. I think if you're a Padres fan, you should feel very good about where this team is at coming back home. Yes, they're dealing with injuries. Yes, they're going to have to continue, just piecing it together and getting different contributions from different guys, which they got today. But I think you should feel good about where this team is at. They've won 11 of 14, and they're playing by far and away for a couple of weeks now their best baseball of the season. Here today, Padres didn't explode offensively. They had just 3 runs. They took advantage of enough of their opportunities, whether that was Donovan Solano with a runner in scoring position in the 4th inning, RBI double to give the Padres a 1-0 lead. Jurickson Profar continues his amazing season, the solo home run in the 6th inning to make it 2-0. Then the bottom half of the 6th inning, Michael King gets in trouble. Jeremiah Estrada comes in, gives up an RBI single to make it 2-1. But this brings us to what was a key part of this series. The Padres bullpen was once again outstanding here today because Estrada gets out of that 6th inning with the Padres still in front 2-1. Then in the top of the 7th inning, the Padres, and look, this is the mark of a good team. They responded in the 7th inning. Nothing fancy. Leadoff double from Donovan Solano, who was great today. 3 hits, including 2 doubles, an RBI, a run scored. He played a major role in this game. But Solano leadoff double, goes to third base on a wild pitch. Ha-Sung Kim gets him in with a sac fly. Padres get that run right back and make it 3-1. And then the bullpen was just terrific. Estrada comes back out, 1-2-3, seventh inning. Adrian Morejon has to face the heart of the Rangers order in a 2-run game. Leadoff man gets on. Morejon continues his terrific work, gets out of that inning, and then Robert Suarez walks the leadoff man, but as we've become accustomed to, he was simply outstanding in the ninth inning. Pretty easy save, picks up his 22nd save of the season, and you look at what this Padre bullpen did during this series, and even a little bit before that. I'll go through it, and then I'll put it together, the total numbers, a little bit later in the post-game show, but let's just go through it quickly in this series. Here today, it was Estrada, Morejon, Suarez. They combined for 3 2/3 scoreless innings. They gave up 2 hits. Yesterday, it was the mix of Matsui, Morejon, Estrada, and Suarez. They went 5 combined scoreless innings and gave up just 2 hits. The first game of this series, Kolek, inning and a third scoreless. Davis, 2 scoreless innings. De Los Santos, a scoreless inning. Padres lost the game, but again, that's a combined 4 innings and a third. 1 run given up. Then you had the final game of the series against Boston. Again, the Padres didn't win these games, but again, the bullpen, Peralta, Kolek, Morejon, and Estrada, 3 2/3 scoreless innings. The Saturday win against the Red Sox, 3 scoreless innings from Matsui, Davis, De Los Santos. I could go back even further to the Friday against the Red Sox, and I am going to put together the total numbers for you out of the bullpen on this road trip. But the point being, the bullpen on this trip was really, really, really good, and they played a major role in the 2 wins the last couple of days. These were close games. These were games where you had major high leverage situations late. Outstanding work by the Padres bullpen. And on top of that, Michael King was really good today. 5 innings and a third, 1 run given up. You felt like he could go maybe even a little bit deeper. Padres elected to go to Estrada in the 6th inning when he gets in trouble. But look, King continues to be really effective. And this was another very, very good start for Michael King. You sure hoped he could maybe get through 6, and maybe if he doesn't get in trouble in the 6th inning, he ends up getting through 6 innings, 6 scoreless, something like that. But today, Michael King, from early on, was in command. Really, aside from that 6th inning, there was not a lot of trouble against him. The defense in this game was outstanding for both teams. I mean, my goodness, the catch by Langford to take a home run away from Kim. Langford threw out a runner. Jerks and Profar threw out a runner in this game. David Peralta made a great catch in foul territory down the right field line. Josh Smith made an outstanding catch in the top of the 9th inning to prevent the Padres from getting another run to end the inning. So defense in this game was really impressive. These were 2 games that, look, the Padres had to find ways to win them late. Had to find ways to hang on in the bullpen, and they did that here today. And again, I think you look at the overall sense of what this team continues to do, winning 11 of 14, 6-1 homestand. You follow that up with not an easy road trip. I mean, it's 6 games against the Red Sox, who have been playing really well coming into that series, team with a winning record. And I know the Rangers' record after today, it's 39-48. They're not having a great season. But you know what? Those are the defending world champions. And it's a team with a lot of veterans, and it's a team that, has been there, done that now. And I think a lot of us expect they're going to turn it on at some point and make it more interesting for themselves. But this was not the easiest of road trips, and the Padres, I thought, did a really, really nice job on this trip, going 4-2, and now they come back home for the start of a series against Arizona tomorrow. We'll step aside. We have the radio highlights coming up. We'll hear from Padre manager Mike Shildt on this July 4th. Hope you're having a great holiday. We are here with you to wrap up today's Padres win. Padres 3, Rangers 1. More postgame after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Padres win the rubber match of this three-game series in Arlington. The final score, Padres 3 and the Rangers 1. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in just a handful of minutes, so stay tuned for that. Let's recap this game from start to finish.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's begin with a look at our starting pitching matchup here today. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Rangers, Michael King on the mound for San Diego. Both starting pitchers were really good early on, putting up 3 scoreless innings. Jurickson Profar led off the top of the 4th inning with a single. He moved to second base on a ground out. He went to third base on a wild pitch. Donovan Solano at the plate.
2-2 to Solano. The pitch is swung on in line over the head of Smith and down the left field line. Profar will come in and score. Solano's on his way to second base. Langford's throw will be cut by Seager. An RBI double and a 1-0 Padre lead.
David Peralta then hit a single to left, but Wyatt Langford, who perhaps robbed Ha-Sung Kim of a home run earlier in the game, threw Solano out at home plate to prevent the Padres from scoring another run, but the Friars did have a 1-0 lead after 3.5 innings. In the bottom half, King issued a 1-out walk to Adolis Garcia. He stole second. He was there with 2 men away for Leody Taveras.
Guy in scoring position for the first time as this ground ball gets through Machado into left. Profar charges. Garcia on his way. The throw and the tag, and he's out at home. Anything you can do, I can do better. And both halves of the 4th inning come to a close with a guy getting thrown out at the plate by the left fielder.
Great job by Jurickson Profar keeping the Padres in front 1-0. Wouldn't be the final big moment that Profar would have in this game. Michael King was rolling 5 scoreless innings to begin his day. In the top of the 6th inning, Padres still led 1-0. It was Jurickson Profar who had a big swing.
1-2. Profar hits it in the air to deep right. Garcia back to watch. Gonna go! Line drive. Home run to right field for Jurickson Profar. The All-Star starter with his 12th of the year, and the Padre lead is now 2-0.
Another big-time moment for Jurickson Profar, who in a couple of weeks will be back in Arlington for the All-Star game. An All-Star starter announced yesterday. What a season for Profar. A home run, like Jesse said, his 12th of the season. Padres still led 2-0 going to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Michael King got in trouble. Corey Seager hit a 1-out double, and King then walked Nathaniel Lowe. King was at 92 pitches. He came out. Jeremiah Estrada came in. Estrada got the second out of the inning, but then it was Wyatt Langford.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, swung on in line into left field. That's a base hit. Seager's going to score an RBI single for Wyatt Langford. What a day, and it's 2-1 San Diego.
Estrada would get out of that inning with just 1 run allowed, and the Padres still ahead. Good job by Estrada there. Padres, though, got the run back in the top of the 7th inning. Donovan Solano hit a leadoff double. He went to third on a wild pitch. Ha-Sung Kim drove in Solano with a sac fly to make it 3-1. That was it for Max Scherzer in this game. He went 6 innings and a third, allowed 3 runs. Estrada came back out for the 7th inning. He pitched a 1-2-3 frame. In the top of the 8th inning, the Padres had a golden scoring chance, 2 on with nobody out, but they did not score. Adrian Morejon came on for the bottom half of the 8th inning. He allowed a leadoff single, but Morejon did a great job. He retired the next 3 batters in the heart of the Rangers lineup, striking out Adolis Garcia to end the inning. We went to the top of the 9th inning. Padres still leading just 3-1, looking for insurance. They got a leadoff single from Donovan Solano. A sac bunt got Solano to second base, but then the Padres again left Solano on base. Ha-Sung Kim grounded out. Brett Sullivan nearly had a bloop hit into left field, but Josh Smith, the third baseman for the Rangers, made just an outstanding over-the-shoulder catch to take the base hit away, and that kept it a 2-run game. So the question became, Would the guys left on base, the missed opportunities to add on some insurance, would that come back to bite the Padres here today? Well, Robert Suarez came in trying to protect that 2-run lead in the bottom half of the 9th inning. He walked Wyatt Langford to start the inning, but then Suarez came back to strike out Leody Taveras for out number 1. He struck out Travis Jankowski for out number 2. The game was left up to the Ranger catcher, Andrew Kisner.
Here's the pitch. Runner goes. And a ground ball slowly to the right side. Arise way to his right. Has it. Going to bring it all the way himself. In time, and the ball game is over. Robert Suarez, a 4-out save last night. A 3-out save here this afternoon. The Padres beat the Rangers 3-1. They take the series, and they complete their road trip with a 4-2 record through Boston and Texas.
Excuse me, it was Jonah Heim at the plate for the Texas Rangers, not Kisner. Heim, a pinch hit in that 9th inning, just to be clear. So Heim recorded the final out, no big deal, and the Padres went on to win it 3-1 against the Texas Rangers on this July 4th. They take 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. They go 4-2 on this road trip to Boston and Texas. Robert Suarez, his 22nd save of the season, now 22 for 23 in save opportunities this year, a 1.02 ERA on the year. Final totals in this one for the Padres: 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and for the Rangers, 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Padres are back to what is a season high, 5 games above 500 at 48-43. Rangers drop to 39-48. Let's go back to Arlington. Here's some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
I think this is your kind of game, Mike. It's a good game all around.
Yeah, well played all phases. I mean, it starts on the mound. Ginger was really, really, really good. Great command of the fastball. Secondary pitches were really good. Changeup was effective. Just did a nice job of, navigating a tough lineup and getting us into the 6th.
And you guys against Scherzer, guy knows how to pitch, kind of just found a way to.
Just found a way, tough at bat. Pitchers duel, and usually comes down to just good at bats and who's going to play clean. And both sides played clean. He took really good at bats. Solano. I mean, what are you going to say about this guy? This guy continues to take good at bats and. Helps us get us on the board, and of course, Pro with a big swing, give us a little insurance. And Kimmy, man, what a great at bat for the 3rd run. So, tremendous job. And then Bullpen, of course, did their part. They were fantastic again. And Estrada, picked up Michael in the 6th, and clean 7th, Morrison sharp again, and Suarez brought it home. So, Bullpen was tremendous.
Not only did Pro score a couple of runs, he also prevented one. Just talk about the throw to home.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, you don't see too many innings that end with outfield assist from the left fielder. Their guy made a really nice play, and then Pro, comes up, nice accurate throw, boom, one hopper, nails it, holds the momentum there. Instead of a tie ball game, we're looking at, still got the lead. So it was a big play. He's done a nice job on both sides of the ball for us.
It seems like this season could be kind of a turning point for King in the sense of his career. He's on pace for maybe 200 innings, making more starts than he has, more wins. Do you see it that way, that this is kind of a step-up year for him, a step-up season, that he has an opportunity to...
Yeah, he's definitely getting the opportunity, big acquisition for us in the offseason, a lot of good acquisitions for us, and Michael right there, and, it's a great opportunity that he's more than seizing to take the next steps in his career. I mean, we clearly evaluate and expect him to be a guy that not only is going to be a starter for us, but going to be a guy that's going to help us at the front end, and he's done exactly that. And I applaud him for how well he's done, and continue to look forward to seeing him, make improvements.
Hey, Adrian, is that as simple as the splits? And that's who those 3 guys you wanted him to face? Adrian instead
as
of
far
one
as the inning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just more of a situation where, like what Adrian was doing, and somebody got on, a little more firepower than the righties.
Who's starting the next 3?
Yeah, we'll release it here in a second.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I just want to confirm, but I don't think it's going to be any big secrets.
All right, that was Padres manager Mike Shildt. After today's game, Padres beat the Texas Rangers by a final score of 3-1. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. By the way, the rotation for the Padres did release this, I suppose, sometime between the time Mike Shildt said that and, I don't know, by the time I got the information here. It'll be Randy Vasquez tomorrow for the Padres. So that's good news. Randy really just pushed back one day, ultimately, after getting hit in that right forearm with the line drive on Friday in Boston. Matt Waldron on the mound for the Padres on Saturday. It'll be Dylan Cease on Sunday for the Padres. So that is the rotation for the Padres moving forward through the weekend. So that's certainly good to see. Randy Vasquez back on the mound. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that Mike Shildt referenced there. Ha-Sung Kim's at bat in the 7th inning. I thought that was a good point. Really good at bat from Kim. We'll talk about King coming up in our next segment as well, and we'll continue to break down this ball game and talk a little bit more about Adrian Morejon and what he continues to do and what he did here today. Really nice win for the Padres as they beat the Rangers by a final score of 3-1. Padres take 2 out of 3 from Texas. They go 4-2 on this road trip to Boston and Arlington, Texas, and the Padres have now won 11 out of their last 14. Our post-game coverage continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Padres win it on this 4th of July. Final score, Padres 3 and the Rangers 1. Welcome back into our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. They go 4-2 on this road trip to Boston and Texas, and they've now won 11 out of their last 14 games. Padres are home now through the All-Star break. They start a 3-game series at Petco Park tomorrow night. They'll have an off day. Then on Monday, then Tuesday and Wednesday, play the Mariners at home. Then an off day, another one on Thursday. And then Friday, they'll play the Braves series opener, first of 3 over the weekend, next weekend, that is, against the Atlanta Braves. And that's it. And then we have the All-Star game, and actually it should be a lot of fun for Padres fans watching the All-Star game. Obviously, like we've said many times, like you probably know by now, Padres have had 2 All-Star starters named, one being Jurickson Profar, one being Fernando Tatis Jr. Tatis on the IL, he's not going to play in that game, but Jurickson Profar will, and going to be very, very cool, I think, to see Jurickson Profar start that All-Star game for the National League. And the Padres should have some others as well, I would imagine, not starters. As far as their pitching, look, I think no doubt Robert Suarez is a lock, should be a lock. If Robert Suarez is not on the NL All-Star team, that is a travesty. He better be. So he was, again, great in this series. A 4-out save yesterday, 3-out save here today, now 22 for 23 in save opportunities. So I'm certainly expecting that Suarez will be on the All-Star team. Certainly very deserving of it. Still a lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a little bit. Get through our daily awards here. Start doing that in just a second. If you want to get a quick phone call in, 833-288-0973. As always, the phone number to call. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, you can do that as well at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. On both those platforms, you can also comment on our various video streams if you're watching our post-game show right now, and I'll address some of your comments and DMs a little bit later on. Let me know what you think about this game, this road trip, how the Padres are playing right now. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Garcia takes right down the middle. Strike 3 called. Throws him with a splitter, and the inning is over.
Adrian Morejon, our relief pitcher of the game, here today. He did a really, really good job in that 8th inning. Morejon in that 8th inning, and this is the reason we go with him, because you could have gone with Estrada, who, got through the 6th inning with the game still tied. Suarez, a save. But the reason it's Morejon is this. At that point, it's a 3-1 game. He comes in, gives up an infield single to Josh Smith. And after that, he's got to face the tying run at the plate in the form of the heart of the Rangers order. Seager, Lowe, and Garcia. Gets Seager to fly out, gets Lowe to ground out, and then Adolis Garcia, who can very easily tie the game with one swing, strikes him out looking on a beautiful off-speed pitch, and I just thought it was great work by Adrian Morejon, who's having a great year, a breakout year out of this bullpen. He was great. So I thought 2-run game, you've got nobody out, tying run at the plate 3 times, and Seager, Lowe, and Garcia 2, 3, 4 in the Texas lineup. That's a great job, and for that reason, Adrian Morejon, our relief pitcher of the game here today. Look, Estrada gave up the RBI single to Langford that made it a 2-1 game at the time in the 6th inning. He did a good job getting out of that inning. There were still 2 on with 1 out, 2 on with 2 out in a 1-run game in that 6th inning. Got out of it with the Padres ahead, came back out for the 7th inning, put together a 1-2-3 frame. So he was also, I think, pretty good in this game, even though he gave up the RBI hit. And then Suarez, obviously, a fairly uneventful save aside from walking the leadoff man. But Adrian Morejon, just more great work from him. You look at his numbers now on the year. A 2.39 ERA in 29 appearances, 37-plus innings, 40 strikeouts. Morejon gave up a couple of runs in back-to-back outings in the Washington series, had a tough outing in Philadelphia. But, you look at what this guy has done and the way he stepped forward to be a high-leverage guy out of this bullpen. It has no doubt been a breakout campaign for Adrian Morejon. When you talk about the highest leverage guys in that bullpen, it's obviously Estrada, it's obviously Suarez, the 1-2, or, I guess Suarez really however you want to put it, the 1-2 punch in the back end. But to me, Morejon's the third guy. When you want to talk about setup guys in this bullpen, well, I guess setup guys, it would be Estrada first, and then Suarez is your closer. You get what I'm saying. He would be sort of the third high leverage guy in that bullpen right now. And I don't know that a lot of us could have predicted that at the outset of this season and during spring training, that Adrian would step forward in that manner and have this type of year. I mean, it's been really, really impressive. So good for him, and he's had a lot of success, and he was really good here today. I thought that was a big, big stretch in this game, in a 2-run game, having to face the heart of the order with all those guys representing the tying runs at home plate. When we come back, we'll take a full look at the Out of Town scoreboard. We'll get through some more of our daily awards. We got some people waiting on hold. We'll take a couple of quick phone calls, and we'll continue to break down this game. Final score, Padres 3, Rangers 1. Post-game coverage continues after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Padres 3, Rangers 1 as the Padres take 2 out of 3 from Texas. They go 4-2 on this road trip to Boston and Arlington, Texas. A happy July 4th to everybody out there. Hoping you're having a great holiday and a very nice Padres win. So sets up for a very nice rest of July 4th. I'm still sorting out what I'm going to do later tonight. I got to keep it sort of low-key, to be honest with you, because I'm on at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning here on the station, filling in for the great Ben, Woods, and Paul tomorrow morning. Yes, they somehow convinced me to do 6 to 10 tomorrow morning. And by the way, I'm doing the game tomorrow, pre and post game like usual. I'll be at the ballpark tomorrow night, so it's going to be a very long Friday, July 5th for me. So I'm gonna keep it low key with the July 4th celebration tonight. So I'm thinking going to Kate Sessions Park. If you have been to Kate Sessions Park, let me know, Twitter, Instagram, video comments. How is the fireworks viewing experience at Kate Sessions? I don't live too far away from there. It's walkable. I'm thinking about that, just grabbing a little dinner, going and watching some fireworks from Kate Sessions. Let me know. for my more experienced San Diegans out there. What do you think about that plan for me tonight? Would love to hear from you. That's the best thing you could do for me today, is give me your thoughts on that. All right, Padres win it 3-1 against the Rangers. We'll squeeze in a couple of quick phone calls here in a moment. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We have a number of finals already today. Cubs beat up on the Phillies 10-2 in Chicago. Ian Happ, a couple of home runs in that game for the Cubbies. Twins beat the Tigers 12-3 in Minnesota. Final in 7 innings. That game shortened due to rain. Guardians beat the White Sox 8-4 in Cleveland. Red Sox beat the Marlins in 12, 6-5. In Miami. Astros beat the Blue Jays 5-3 in Toronto. Jeremy Pena, home run in that game for Houston. Reds beat the Yankees 8-4 in New York. Spencer Steer, a 3-run home run in that game for the Reds. How about that? The Reds sweep the Yankees. The Yankees, who got off to such an electric start this season, they've lost 14 of 19. Wow. Reds sweep them in the Bronx. Final score today, 8-4. Cardinals beat the Pirates 3-2 in Pittsburgh in 10 innings. Pedro Pajes drove in the go-ahead run in the 10th for St. Louis in that one. Nationals beat the Mets 1-0 in D.C. Jesse Winker, a home run in the 8th inning to break a scoreless tie there. Games going on right now. A's beating the Angels 3-0 in Oakland in the 6th inning. Orioles and the Mariners tied at 2 in Seattle in the 6th inning. Games yet to begin. We've got a handful. Giants at the Braves in Atlanta at 4:20. Brewers and the Rockies in Colorado at 5:10. Rays and the Royals in Kansas City at 5:10. Diamondbacks in LA against the Dodgers at 6:10. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this July 4th. Great day for baseball, July 4th, as always. Let's tell you about today's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
2-2 to Solano. The pitch is swung on in line, over the head of Smith, and down the left field line. Profar will come in and score. Solano's on his way to second base. Langford's throw will be cut by Seager. An RBI double and a 1-0 Padre lead.
Donovan Solano, our player of the game today. A 3-hit day for Solano, and they were really impactful. The RBI double that you just heard in the 4th inning to make it a 1-0 game. He had a double and a run scored in the 7th inning. That made it a 3-1 game. A single in the 9th inning was stranded on second base. But this was a big day for Solano. I mean, he had a couple of really high-impact hits. He was great. So Solano with the 3 hits, for that reason, our player of the game here today. A couple of other notes for you I said I would get to, just to highlight from this game. You know, Ha-Seong Kim, and you heard Mike Shildt mention it in the post-game press conference, and it may go under the radar, but his at-bat in the 7th inning, when it was 2-1, Solano's on third base with 1 out. He falls behind 0-2 against Jose Urena in that spot, battles back to make it 3-2, lifts a fly ball deep enough to left field to get Solano in with that 3rd run, and really the Padres answering in a big way, because they had a 2-0 lead. Rangers had just made it 2-1. They answer, make it a 2-run lead again. That was really, really important for the Padres, and that was a good at-bat from Ha-Seong Kim, who hit the ball really hard today. He had a home run maybe taken away from him by Wyatt Langford, had another line out to third base later in the game, and again, Mike Shildt alluded to it, that was a great turn at bat for Ha-Seong Kim. He was down 0-2, got it back to 3-2, and then ultimately hit a ball hard to left field. It was caught, but good enough to get the run in for the Padres in that spot. And then another thing that was mentioned there in the post-game press conference, just worth touching on, Michael King, you know, with the 5 innings and a third today, he actually matched and then slightly surpassed what his innings or how should I put this? His high in innings is in his career during a season. Last year with the Yankees, Michael King pitched 104 and 2/3 innings. With his 5 1/3 today, he's at an even 105 this season. And obviously, with a long ways to go, he's going to go way, 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 way above 104 and 2/3. But look, congratulations to Michael King, because that's one milestone he's now hit. He told me during spring training that his goal was to get to 180, and he knew it was a lofty goal. But you know what? You look at where he's at, and if he stays healthy and he continues to do what he's done, and the Padres are smart with the way they handle him, I don't think that goal is out of reach. If he keeps doing what he's doing and knock on wood stays healthy and all those things. So, every out he records, every inning he throws from this point on, he's going to start building on that. On that innings number. It's just something to keep an eye on, right? Because he's going into uncharted territory in his career, really from this point on. And he's already sort of been doing that, because he's already doing something he's never done, which is be a full-time starting pitcher from the start of a season on. But just a note with Michael King, he did surpass that number from last year. He's now at 105 even, and every out he records, he's going to keep on building on that number. Let's squeeze in a couple of phone calls here quickly. Let's go to Dylan calling in. Dylan, you have the first word on our postgame show here today. What's up?
Hey, how's it going? Huge win today. I'm glad that you mentioned Donovan Solano as the player of the game. I think that his play has been very shadowed in terms of like the performers on the Padres recently.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his stats, he ranks top 20, top 25 in the league for infielders in batting, and obviously he hasn't had the same amount of at-bats as a lot of starters in the league, but I think that he, being a guy that comes off the bench, I think that's a huge value the Padres have, especially when all of these players that are injured come back. I think having that veteran player, he's 35, 36 years old, and he's batting better than 75% of infielders in the MLB this year. And I think that's one thing that people obviously are overlooking. And I think that is going to come in huge if we make a run this year. So definitely glad that was who won the player of the game today. But hoping that he gets a little bit more light as the season rolls on. So.
Well, Dylan, appreciate the phone call. And look, I'm totally with you. Solano's been great. He's been an outstanding pickup for this team. I mean, really, really good veteran player. I mean, I think he's even given you more than what you could have expected, hoped for. He's batting .296 on the year. He's got, an on-base percentage of .361. He's hit some home runs. He's just been very, very solid for this team. And look, he probably, once Xander gets back, won't be in this lineup nearly as much as he has been. But what a guy to have off the bench. What a guy to be able to start. He's been great. He's been really, really great. And it was, a savvy move by A.J. Preller to go get him and bring him in. And clearly, he's made a very big impact on this team. And here today, he was terrific. And we've said it many times about Donovan with what he's brought. So he's been very, very good. And, look, it will only make this team better to have a guy like him around, even when some of these guys come back. Xander Bogaerts is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment today with AAA El Paso, which is great news. And, look, it's going to be great to have Solano in the mix here off the bench, getting starts. He's been terrific. So spot on, Dylan. Good call. All right, we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll hear our play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow as the Padres return home. Again, the final score, Padres 3, Rangers 1. Our post-game coverage wraps up after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we wrap this one up. Padres win it 3-1 against the Texas Rangers as they take the rubber game of this 3-game series. Padres improved to 48-43 on the year. We'll have an opportunity to go for a season high 6 games above 500 tomorrow. We'll have more on that game coming up in just a moment. Let's hear today's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
1-2. Profar hits it in the air to deep right. Garcia back to watch. Gonna go! Line drive. Home run to right field for Jurickson Profar. The All-Star starter with his 12th of the year, and the Padre lead is now 2-0.
Jurickson Profar, our play of the game. Back in Arlington, where he found out yesterday he's going to the All-Star game for the very first time. Caps the series with a home run. Solo shot, 12th of the season, made it a 2-0 game. And look, every run in this game was important. Ended up being a 3-1 final score. So for Profar, that's our play of the game here today. Really, really nice moment for Pro. Really looking forward to seeing him in the All-Star game. Coming up in a couple of weeks back in Arlington. So a nice moment for Profar to hit that home run in Arlington as the Padres go on to win this game 3-1. Again, they win 2 out of 3 against Texas, 4 out of 6 on this road trip, and they also have won 11 out of their last 14 games. Before we take a look ahead to tomorrow, let's squeeze in one more call here quickly. Mike in Chula Vista. Mike, you have the final word today. What's going on?
Sam, thanks for having me, man. Love your show. I love how you get at it, man. I think the other day I made a comment about Manny and when he's playing in the field, and I'll tell you again today. I think when he's just out in the field playing, I mean the plays he made at third, unbelievable today, and I just think he's the engine for this team. You got the role players if they're doing what they do. I mean, we got a real good shot this year, man. I think if we make the playoffs, we could be very dangerous. Mm-hmm. We got people hurt. We're doing this without Tatis. So this is very, very exciting and just great win today. Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah, you got it, Mike. Thank you for the phone call. And look, we went over that when you called a few days ago about Manny's numbers offensively when he's in the field versus when he DHs. There is some truth to that. Just this season, I'd have to go back even farther in his career to see if there's any correlation. Look, he did hit the home run yesterday. And Mike, to your point, he was playing third base. So maybe there's a little something to it. I don't know. But to your greater point, and I said it early in the postgame today, look, I think right now you have to feel, despite the injuries, you have to feel about as good as you felt about this team in 2024 because, again, they've won 11 of 14, but it's the consistency over a stretch. It's not letting the 2 losses in the middle of this road trip turn into 3-4 straight losses and totally reversing what you just did, all the good you just had. The fact that they were able to connect a great homestand with a really good road trip, and it's now been a couple of weeks where they've played well, where they're just finding ways to win despite the injuries, getting different contributions from guys all over the place. I mean, really, 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 good stretch here. 11-3 in a span of 14 games. You really got to like that. So, really good stuff for the Padres. I think you have to feel pretty good about where they're at right now, and we'll see how the homestand goes moving forward as the Padres now come home, and they will wrap up the first half of the season. Well, we're already in the second half by the games, but you get what I'm saying. Before the All-Star break, first half of the season at home. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow. Padres back home, the start of what is how many games is it? 3, 5, 9-game homestand for the Padres. 3 against Arizona, day off on Monday, 2 against Seattle, day off Thursday, and then 3 more next weekend against Atlanta. So yes, right, 8, 3 plus 2, 5, 8. Yes, 8-game homestand for the Padres coming up. So tomorrow, 6:40 p.m. first pitch at Petco Park. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:40 on the mound for the Padres, as the Padres have now announced it'll be right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. Diamondbacks have not announced their starter for that game yet. The Diamondbacks still are yet to begin their game here today, so that's probably part of the reason. You know what? Excuse me, they have actually announced it. Let me rewind. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. It'll be right-hander Slade Ciccone on the mound for Arizona. So that's our pitching matchup tomorrow. Vasquez against Ciccone. Again, first pitch at 6:40. Pre-game coverage at 5:40. As always, if you missed any of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt. Find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. And you can also find any of our post-game coverage on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. And a reminder that I will be back on the air tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., bright and early. I am with you, filling in for Ben and Woods tomorrow morning, 6 to 10 a.m. I'll be here for you, 6 to 10. So join me then. We'll have some fun tomorrow morning. A 4-hour solo program with Sammy Lev. We'll have some fun. Looking at the final totals here today for the Padres, 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors. They left on 5. For the Rangers, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 7. Winning pitcher Michael King, who improves to 7-5. Losing pitcher Max Scherzer, who drops to 1-2. The save goes to Robert Suarez, his 22nd of the year. Time of game, 2 hours and 28 minutes. And the crowd at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, 38,607. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:40 at Petco Park. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long on this July 4th. Hope you have a great rest of your holiday. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 3 and the Texas Rangers 1. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. on 97.3 The Fan.